Let me start with something subtle. Most people don't realize how much comparison is running in the background of their lives. Not loud comparison, not jealousy, not even envy, but just a quiet sense of being behind, right? You scroll, you listen, you watch others move forward, and something inside you hesitates. Not because you don't know what to do, not because you're not capable, but because your internal signal gets quieter. And today, my friends, I want to talk about that, because comparison doesn't just steal your confidence, it slowly disconnects you from yourself. So here's the reframe most people never hear. Comparison is not insecurity. And it's not weakness. It's not a mindset problem. Comparison is a threat response. Your brain is wired. It's wired to scan social environments for safety. Thousands of years ago, comparison helped humans survive. It answered questions like, do I belong? Am I safe here? Am I falling behind the group? Now, the problem isn't that comparison exists. The problem is that today, it's triggered constantly. Social media, performance culture, achievement pressure. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between real danger and a perceived social threat. So it asks, am I enough? Am I doing this right? Am I late? And every time that question fires, your system, it shifts out of trust. My friends, comparison isn't failing you. It's your system just checking for safety. Now, this is where the real cost shows up. Comparison doesn't usually make you quit. It makes you hesitate. You start editing yourself. You start second guessing those decisions. Waiting longer before you act. Not because you don't know what you want, but because you stop trusting how you decide. So here's what quietly changes. You stop asking things like, does this align with me? And you start going, how does this measure up? My friends, you begin to lose that inner reference point. And the more you compare, the quieter your own signal starts to become. That's why people say, I don't feel like myself anymore. It's not an identity loss. It's identity interference. Now I want to talk about why hesitation and second guessing form. So we want to just connect the dots, right? Comparison creates uncertainty. Uncertainty then creates hesitation. Hesitation prevents that action. And then that lack of action prevents that evidence. And without evidence, your self-trust erodes. It doesn't form. Now, this is so important. Hesitation is not indecision. It's identity confusion. You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because you stop trusting how you choose. And when trust drops, your system looks outward. It looks outward for those cues. Right? You look for more comparison, which creates more doubt. But it also creates that more noise. And then that's how people, my friend, end up stuck in their own way without realizing how they got there. Here's another quiet shift comparison creates. You start measuring your life using external metrics. Speed, visibility, progress compared to others, right? Instead of those internal ones, alignment, consistency, follow through. My friends, external matrix always create pressure. An internal matrix creates stability. When you measure yourself externally, your confidence is going to fade. And it's going to fluctuate. And it's going to be good. But when you measure yourself internally, your confidence will stabilize. Because confidence doesn't come from being ahead. It comes from being aligned. So how do we get out of that comparison trap? How do we get out and just really begin to live internally? You don't fight it. That's the first thing. You don't fight comparison. You replace it with a measurement system. So I want to give you 3 internal metrics that you can use to really rebuild your identity stability. First is, did I act out of an alignment today? Did I act out of an alignment today? Because we all want to live a life in alignment with who we truly are. But if we don't know who that is, we have to figure that out. So did you act in alignment today? Second thing is, did I keep a promise to myself no matter how small? Every morning I know I make myself a to-do list. I make myself choices that I want to make throughout this day, either good ones or ones that I want to break. And I have to reflect at the end of the day and go, did I keep that promise to myself that I did not want to do that, or I did want to do that, no matter how small it was? And third, did I move in the direction that I want to go, even at a slow pace? I'm building things right now in my business and in my life, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take 12 months to build this. 12 months. That's a long time. But consistently, slowly, I'm going to be a different person in 365 days. And that's where we want to get to, my friends. And that's it, right? Did I act in alignment today? Did I keep my promise to myself no matter how small? And did I move in my direction even slowly? Not, did I do more than somebody else? Or did I move fast enough? My friends, the brain rebuilds trust through evidence. Identity stabilizes through consistency. And noise fades when reference points are internal. Confidence returns when you stop measuring yourself against others. And you start measuring your relationship with yourself. So I want to bring this all together. Comparison fragments identity. Identity stabilizes through internal reference points, and self-trust grows through consistency. So if you've ever felt hesitant, quieter, or even less sure of yourself lately, my friends, you're not behind. You're not late. You're recalibrating your compass. Now on February 18th, I'm going to go live inside the Transformation Academy Facebook group, and I'm going to talk about the real you and a reset that you can do for identity baseline. We're going to talk about your sense of normal and how that can drive and drift over time. Especially, my friends, it can drift over time, especially under stress. And then how to reset without having to rebuild everything. Because if you're slowly making slow, steady progress, you don't want to have to go back to the start and rebuild. And then later on Friday on YouTube, I'm going to break down how small daily wins can completely change your identity. Because consistency, not comparison, is what actually shapes who you become. My friends, there's only one you. And you're not meant to become somebody else. You're meant to become more anchored in who you already are. And that starts, my friend, by getting out of your own way.